Hey, hello, this is Natural Fitness Lifestyle. Yes, I don't have my shirt off today, and I apologize, but it really is cold. You see that? It Snow is coming, the winter is here, and so is my hoodie. I hope everyone's doing good, and I hope everybody's having a good weekend. In fact, a great weekend. We got to get ready. One of the ways that I get ready for the winter is by eating more nutritious food because I have to. We all need our B vitamins for circulation, the iron for circulation. By the way, this video is not meant for recommendation or advice. This video is meant strictly for educational purposes only. So, yeah, you need your B vitamins, you need your iron for the circulation in your blood. Yeah, really, and vitamin A too, because when the winter comes, you really need to get that circulation going to stay warm. And exercise as well. One of the things that I do is when I get up in the morning is start moving. I stretch and I start moving my legs, especially I start moving my legs. And by say half an hour, I'm ready to go outside and take a walk in the cold. But a brisk walk, yes indeed, a nice brisk walk. Yes. So I wonder how's everybody doing today. Thanksgiving is coming up. Gobble 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 gobble. More protein. But hey, you know what? I'm a lacto-ovo vegetarian, which means I do not eat meat. I have milk, cheese, eggs. I have soy. I have hemp. I have a lot of different vegetarian sources of protein. I have chickpeas. So I like to get a lot of protein from my vegetarian sources, as well as the milk, cheese, eggs, whole eggs, and egg whites. Yeah, so I don't eat meat, but I get my protein from the other sources. It's very important to get a good, well-rounded diet here in the wintertime. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah. I live here in Pennsylvania and I see a lot of moo-moos, a lot of cows. They go moo. They look so cool. Do you know I seen some cows, they standing on their hind legs. I mean, how many times have you seen a cow standing on its hind legs, standing up like that? And it was munching on some hay. And then some other cows joined in and they were standing on their hind legs. They were having a hay eating party. Really cool looking. I love cows, so I can't see myself eating them. I used to love to eat burgers when I was younger, but I never gave it a thought. I didn't live in Pennsylvania. The only place I seen, oh yeah, I love cows. I love cows. I think they're real cool animals. Over here in Pennsylvania, I've seen cows hanging out with pigs, hanging out with ducks. Yeah, different animals like to hang out with cows because they're cool. A lot of people look at cows like they're just standing there like dull. But they can do some interesting things. Yeah, if you just watch them long enough, you see them do different things. And they play games too. Yeah, yeah. You may think I'm a little nuts, but I've seen some cows play hiding. They appear to be playing hide and go seek. So like one cow was in the front, and then another cow went around and it went behind a bale of hay, like it was hiding. And the other cow went, "Mm," and it started walking. And then a female cow says, "I got you," and then the other cow, then both came running away, running out. Yeah, so it was play. So the cows play hide and go seek. At least that's the way it looks, appears to me anyway. Do you like vegetarian? Yeah, it's getting cold. You see, the snow is coming, but Yeah, I hope you have an amazing night. And really, thanks for dropping by. Yeah, you have a blessed night and you have a great day tomorrow. Got one more day on this weekend, right? One more day. Enjoy it. Thank you again for dropping in. That's great of you. I really appreciate it. Stay warm. So, one thing, hey, thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. So, what's everybody's favorite color? I'm wearing my favorite color, sky blue. Sky blue is my favorite color. There's something about sky blue. It, it does remind me of the sky. And it's a happy color. It also sky blue also reminds me of the ocean. I don't know how to swim. I'm scared of the ocean, but I love watching. I love looking at the ocean. At, I love looking at the ocean. It is very inspiring. It's awe-inspiring because the ocean waves are powerful and they're very artistic. Yes, they can. Ocean waves can form many different patterns, and the ever changing shape of the waves. It's inspiring. Gives a feeling of limitless time. When I look at the ocean, it's like time is limited. It's limitless. Yes, limitless time. Yeah, kind of forget about my age when I look at the ocean. I go to the beach. Oh, I haven't been to the beach in a long time. Hey, thank you. Thanks for dropping in. Yeah, I'm doing well. I appreciate it. I hope you are doing well too. I was talking about my love for the ocean because it is something that kind of makes me forget time. When I look at the ocean, if I'm sitting on the beach looking out into the ocean, I kind of forget about time. I forget about the concept of time. I just think of the here and now. I let my mind go, and it seems to get me in a creative state, thinking about all the possibilities. Fire, really, that's very interesting. Fire. Fire is powerful. All the energy, all the energy that's embodied in fire, you know, the temperature, the hot temperature, exuding energy, exuding warmth, spreading all that energy where you can feel it. Yeah, that warmth, that heat parallels sometimes your emotions, right? For me, I think that's the way I look at like fire, the emotional energy, the heat of it's like the saying goes, heated moment, where you have your emotions. These emotions run hot, tempers run hottest. Yeah, they compare the emotions to fire many times. Oh wow, that's really cool. I like to do that. I've been thinking about that a lot lately, especially when I drive in on the countryside with my friend, and I really like to go into the woods and camp. The daytime is very beautiful. I'm not sure how I would feel in the night when everything gets pitch dark, and if I hear animals crawling around, I mean walking around. Yeah, but I have a backyard, and I'm thinking of pitching a tent, pitching a tent in my backyard, and can't make a campfire because my friend is afraid I'd burn the place down. A movie I can quote by heart. It's a good question. High Plains Drifter with Clint Eastwood. Yeah, you go out to the woods and work and cook. Wow. See, I've been thinking about that. I seen a video on YouTube where a guy made a log cabin out of chopping down trees, and that in the video it appeared that he did it like they speed up the video, they put it in like fast motion. It appeared that he made a log cabin and he chopped down all these trees and he put up a log cabin in like a few hours. Oh, foxes. All right, I guess foxes they're not harmful, right? I mean, I guess if you stay away from them, they'll stay away from you. Uh, like 10 years back, I went to the Catskills, and it was like a log cabin, it, but it was like spruced up, and it had an artificial fireplace. But outside, there were some people, and they would burn the logs just to keep the flies away. So you could, and the residents there, it was actually a resort area where people rented these log cabins in the mountains in the Catskills, and at nighttime they like to have a campfire. Yeah, so it was really fun. It was really fun being out there in the Catskills. I almost had a run-in with a big deer. I love deers, but deers aren't wild animals. The thing that concerns me are like a bobcat, you know, one of those wild cats in the wilderness. I heard there are some fox, but can foxes be wild? Like, I mean, if a fox sees you and you get close, do they feel threatened? No, I should ask if if I see a fox and I keep my distance, will it keep its distance from me? Oh no, yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Bobcats. I've seen them in movies and they look really wild. Wolves, but I love wolves. Oh wow, wolves are so powerful. They have when they howl. To me they sound like spiritual. They seem like they're calling out to the heavens. They're calling out to the future. The way they call each other with their howls is this very awe. Leaves me in awe. Foxes you ate usually shy and start easily like deers. Oh, that's interesting. Startled. Okay. What about if I just stay perfectly still? If I stay perfectly still, because I would. That's what I would. Especially, I mean, if I ran into a wolf, I love dogs, but I mean, wolves aren't dogs, and dogs aren't wolves. But silly me, I kind of looked at them. I mean, they impressed me like a big, big dog. But I know they're wolves, they're not dogs. Yeah. What I mean to say is that I just love the way they look and I love the way they are. But that doesn't mean I could get next to them. Though it would be an honor if a wolf, let me get next to them. Can you imagine? That would probably mean something, right? That would that would be very special if a pack of wolves let me get next to them. A slow and soft, maybe a sniff, then run away. If it does stay, they are usually very friendly animals. Oh, really? Oh, that's nice to know. Thank you. Thank you, Dean. I've always loved foxes. When I was a kid, Dean, I used to spend most of my time in the park because there was this park across the street from my apartment building. It is called Sunset Park, and it has the highest altitude of all the parks in New York. In fact, it has the highest altitude of any point in New York City because the middle of the park is on 6th Avenue, and all the avenues from 6th Avenue to First Avenue are downhill. So it's such a very high point, very high altitude, and especially for for a simple city, for a simple little neighborhood in Brooklyn, that park you can look is very very high. The altitude, you look down into the bay, and you could see across the bay. So if you're at the middle of the park, Sunset Park, and you look down, you're at such a high altitude, you can see all the boats, the tugboats, the ships in the middle of the Hudson River. The real New York, yeah. You mean like the neighborhoods? Yeah, because, you know, I feel the same way. Like tourist places are nice, but I mean, they're kind of, for lack of a better word, flat, right? I mean, after a while, it's kind of dull, right? Like square, you go to a restaurant, okay, you see the lights, you see the just everything looks just plain, except for if you go to, I guess, the Upper East Side or some places in Brooklyn. You see like the architecture, the old houses and the architectures. It's kind of interesting. Or even have you ever been to Tudor City? Tudor City is one of the richest places in New York. I mean, the most wealthiest. But it's kind of like I don't know what you could call it. It's an isolated place because you have to cross a bridge and go up a bridge, cross it, and the houses that they made there, well, it's not houses, the buildings, the residential buildings, are like sort of like isolated by the isolated from the rest of the city by the bridge. It's separated. You can say it's separated by the rest of the city by the bridge. So it's a very private area, and it's very, very, very wealthy. And the buildings, the residential buildings, are very artistic. They're old, and the architecture is interesting. Just like the Waldorf Astoria, like Dean. Want to hear a funny story? When I worked as a messenger, I had to make a delivery to the Waldorf Astoria, and being me, I, like to, I like to, I was kind of a mischievous type of guy. The the lobby guy didn't know who the resident was. He didn't know where the apartment. He didn't know who the resident. When I asked for the resident by name, he didn't know who they were. I took it upon myself to get on the elevator and go up there. And there I was. I got lost in the Waldorf Astoria, and that wasn't so impressive. The walls, the wallpaper, and the rocks were pretty interesting. Maybe some lamps, the architecture of some lamps, right? Or like antique lamps. Some antiques were interesting. I like antiques. Oh, good, thank you. How's your night going, Tristan? It's okay. I was gonna, yeah, I put on my hoodie because it's starting to get cold. It's getting cold now. I'm okay with the cold, but I like the wind. I like the snow. It feels warmer when there's snow. Ask your future self. Oh, my future self. Future self. How am I going to handle being successful? Am I still going to be the same down to earth guy when I'm successful and I have more money and I live in a, will I choose to live in a fancy place or a very simple place? Me, I think I see myself like in a log cabin. Yes, in the mountains. Yeah, yeah. Um, for me, I like the parks. Yeah, I like the parks. I got lost in Central Park one time. Because Central Park, has this, it's divided by the 66th Street where the you know, cars could cross from Fifth Avenue up to 8th Avenue, I think, to 6th Avenue. Is it 6th Avenue? I believe it's 6th Avenue. So the cars cross from the east side on Fifth Avenue to the west side on 6th Avenue. So that divides the park. And so you have to go around. And I kind of got lost. I got lost in Central Park. Yes, me too. Me too. A cabin and a beautiful woman in life would be, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be living in a cabin by myself. I want a beautiful woman in a cabin, a fireplace. I'd be howling at the moon. Woo! We, me and a woman would be howling at the moon. Wouldn't that be something? Yeah, that's some kind of stuff that dreams are made of. Yeah, how many people get to live in a cabin in the woods, in the mountains, with all different type of plants and vegetables and animals and a beautiful woman by the fireplace. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, well, yeah, point there. That's true, Dean. Can't trust anybody as much as you trust yourself, right? It's true. That's very true. Things can go. Well, I mean, it depends on the person, man. That's why they say, you know, it has to be a special person to settle down. In order to settle down, you have to find, quote unquote, that special person, right? It's very true because it's not easy to find. It's very true. You gotta, especially when they start trying to hog the covers, hog the blankets, right? You have one blanket and it's cold and they want to hog the blanket. Then you see how selfish they can be. Yeah, no. Yeah. If they want to hog the blankets, they're selfish. It's very cold and they pull the blankets off of you and they say, where did the blanket go? And she has the entire blanket wrapped around her. And you're over there, cold, shaking cold. Yeah, it is. It is. I was thinking tonight, because, sometimes I hear song, any, certain songs, particular song comes on and it gets me in a nostalgic mood. And I remember this friend I had, and we were very intuitive of each other. I would start a sentence and she would finish it. I would start a thought and she would finish that thought. Like she was tapping into my thought. We were tapping into each other's thoughts and feelings. It was like almost it was magic, but it never got physical. I wanted. I was kind of. For me, I thought that getting physical meant that it completed, made a relationship complete. I felt like the relationship wasn't complete unless we got physical. But now I realize that's not true. Oh well, I kind of turned her off one time because we were walking together, right? And she wanted to we wanted to put our arms around each other, walk that way. And we were feeling really good, being around with each other. We have a great night. We went to a concert, we were dancing, we were giving each other, well, I was giving her a foot massage. She had to give me a foot massage in the park. And, well, on the train ride on the way home, I touched her leg, but I did it in a playful way, but around the knee, not the upper thigh. And she didn't like it. And so I was just teasing, I guess, but I don't know, I guess I was just being stupid or insistent or not insistent. I just figured it was no big deal. And I kind of felt rejected that if she didn't let me, like, joke around like that, squeeze her knee or something. So she got offended, and I felt I kind of like changed the way, changed the things between us. Because after that, she didn't like call me to go out. Because we used to, like, every week or so, we used to go out. It never got physical though. I mean, but it was special because it's sort of like we would read each other's mind. And on two occasions, we were just we said bye to each other, and just as we turned our backs, I got the idea. Let me turn around and sneak and kiss her. But would you know it? She was thinking the same exact thing, and I mean, it happened not even a second. It's almost as it happened as fast as I thought of it. We kissed each other, and it's like, how did she know? How did she know that I was gonna see? I was trying to catch her by surprise because she was already turning around, and I think, okay, so I'll catch her by surprise and I'll sneak in a kiss. But she was thinking the same thing, and we both caught each other by surprise with a kiss. Now tell me if that is not like really like very magical. Oh, that was back in 2005, 20 years ago, my goodness. And it happened twice. And the funny thing is, when we both snuck each other a kiss, we we both lifted our fingers to point at each other to do this. Ah, I got you. But we did it. It couldn't be more synchronized. We both did it, pointed at each other at the same exact time. It's almost like we were just a mirror image of each other. It was magic. Like, I snuck in we snuck in the kiss, and then we gotcha. We both did it at the same exact time. It's like, mirror images of each other. Kindred spirits. That's what it was, kindred spirits. But me, I didn't think that it was complete if I didn't wasn't her boyfriend. But I mean, I was a deep friend without being a boyfriend. But it was still deep. I didn't, I thought there was somebody out there deeper. But I mean, or somebody out there more meaningful. But I learned now that it was very, very, it was as meaningful as it could be. You could say it couldn't get any more meaningful. Oh, hey, how you doing? Good. Thanks for dropping in, man. Thanks. I'm really happy you can make it, man. Yeah, we were just talking over here, like experiences from the past. It just comes to mind. Like old experience always come to mind on Saturdays. What is it? What is it about Saturdays that you're sitting home or you're anywhere, and you start thinking of like you remember things? Yeah, it was like a movie. Honestly, Tristan, it was like a movie. And we met at the job, and the thing is she was 20 years younger than me. 20 years. But she looked like a rock and roll girl. with these cut off. Here, I, get this. This shows you how much we were alike. Probably still are alike. These type of gloves. Oh, can you see them? You see these type of gloves with the fingers cut off. She always wore them, and she wore this peacoat and this wool hat. It's like I always liked it. She looked like a rock and roll girl, and I love rock and roll, and I love that look, and so I just love you know I wanted to get to know her, and she could tell, but let she didn't let me know that she wanted to talk to me too. But the way we made, the way we got each other to talk to each other was that she went out. She went. We both had a break. We went outside, and she went. She was already outside. I went outside, and then we just started talking. As soon as we started talking, it was like a chain reaction. Everything I said, she she added to. Everything she said, I added to. And it was just like a chain reaction. From there on, it just, the conversation kept on flowing. But the, but the most funny thing is that I like the way she expressed herself, the words she used to express herself, because I kind of like, I'm like an old timer buff, like the 50s, the phrases they used to use in the 50s movies, right? She kind of liked that too. And I thought that was pretty neat because she was 20 years younger than me. But here she is. She likes phrases from speaking phrases from the 50s. Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you. We were connected like unbelievable. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, phrases from a movie, like Tony Curtis, like from a long time ago, right? He would say a phrase. She knew that phrase. It's almost like she tapped into my mind, and she knew my likes, my taste, and I knew hers without even talking to each other. It just came out. Man, it's kind of it makes you think, makes you wonder. Yeah, yeah. Oh, get this. She was a poet. She liked to write poetry. She liked to go to open mics. So just to impress her, I wrote a poem about her, and I surprised her with it. There it was. So I never thought I'd be writing poetry, me and poetry. And then I got to go to open mics and recite poetry. I mean, like, wow. Wow, that's interesting, Dean. So I guess old feelings that are true feelings never die. I mean, never go, right? Yeah, yeah, you did the wow, very honorable of you. I would have did the same. I think that's very honorable because doing the right thing is very important. Because then you can look back and you say, I didn't mess anyone's life up, right? I mean, of course, you would have felt bad if you would have messed up their marriage, right? So yeah, of course, you did. That was, I respect you. You know, um, I respect you, and I'm impressed. No, but yeah, I respect you for that. Because it's really, really. I admire you for that too. Right? That's the word. That's what I was trying to say too. Yeah, exactly. I know. That's kind of um, kind of similar, not similar, I mean, the way I felt, the way her husband would feel. Yeah, really, so something similar happened to me, but I really feel bad for her. Yeah, right, right. That friend of mine, one day, another thing that kind of changed everything. One day she showed up. We were supposed to. We would always meet in the corner. Like after we got our, left the office, and then I was waiting for her in the corner, and then she showed up with this guy, and it's like, wow. You know how the saying goes, two's company, three's the crowd. And after that, like we didn't see each other for like we didn't talk to each other for like 3 weeks. Oh, I lost my. Oh, man, sorry about that. Oh, yes, yes. You were very close. And sorry about that. Because it's special when you have, one of a kind friends and special friends. Yeah, to part with them. Yeah, I kind of like have some old friends that things that didn't go right. People that I grew up with, in fact. Because people you grow up with, right? You don't. They're special because they don't. Trying to get rid of there is something in my face. But yeah, people that you grew up with. Sometimes I wonder what happened to them. Yeah, you're doing the right thing is so important. Like I kicked myself in the head. I had an affair with my cousin. Now, this would happen when I was 21. She was 18. But I was going from New York. Oh, oh, well, thank you. I really appreciate that you that you share that with me. And I'm going to share with you, like, I was, so I had a relationship with my cousin. You know, it's- I was so, I was kind of ignorant, naive because I used to watch the movies, kissing cousins, but the movies are the movies in real life, or real life. I didn't realize that you don't have relationships with cousins. you know, it's it's family. It's almost like your sister. So, but I was kind of ignorant. I thought it was okay. But what really made it happen was that I had first seen the cousin. We first met when she was 11 and I was 14, and she was flirting with me, or we were flirting with each other. Even back then, she was 11 or 14. We were flirting with each other. Who would have known that? Let me see, 21, 14, 7 years later, we would meet again. And that though she said she didn't remember these things, but in a way, the way she acted, it's like she remembered me. She remembered me. But even more uncanny is that I had a vision of her dancing wearing this, blue short sleeve polyester shirt and these tight pants, and she was dancing in the room with me, and I imagined exactly the way the room looked and the way she danced. This is before I went to see her. And would you believe we ended up in the room that I imagined, dancing the same exact way? It's almost like I seen into the future. I mean, you know, so maybe I guess, this is saying if something's meant to happen, it's meant to happen. Maybe it's really true, but I could have practiced self-restraint and self-control and not did it, but it's almost like I felt like something was pulling me. I felt like something, yeah, but I felt like something was pulling me, like it was like something was pulling me fought hard to, and I I felt like she was the same. We kept on going back and forth, and then going to places, going to the movies. One day we went to the movies, and the guy was on. We were on the line. The guy was trying to touch her, and I pushed the guy, and I said, "Hey, what you doing?" I stood up for her, and she said, "Oh, you didn't have to do that." I said, "But hey, it's the right thing to do. You're here with me. That's disrespectful." So, I don't know. Um, she didn't want to she didn't want to walk, let me put my arm around her or kiss her, right? But it's the thing is, we ended up like being uh, having a relationship, but in self denial. We were, it's so like we were like denying to ourselves that we were doing what we were doing. I don't know if that makes sense. You know, we were denying to ourselves that was on our, you know, under our intentions anyway. But it's just strange, you know. But I regret it, even though we had good dates, we went to nice places. Yeah, still think of her though. Actually, you know, it's just funny how things happen. But it's not funny because cousins are not supposed to be boyfriend and girlfriend. Yes, indeed. And it's hard to control. You're absolutely right about that. It is hard to control, especially I have a weakness for like short women, cute, short, cute, petite. Always been like a thing with me. And that's the way she was. Both both my closest relationships were short, petite, right? Short, petite persons. It's like I find it irresistible. I guess that's the word. Yeah, irresistible. I found her irresistible. I knew it was wrong. In a way, I knew it was wrong, but it was irresistible to me. Like the feeling was so irresistible. Anyway, it's really great talking to everybody. Dean, I'm not sure if you're still there. Tristan, but you have a great night and have a great the rest of your weekend. Thanks for dropping in, and I really, really always enjoy, appreciate it.